Hi everybody, I'm just Shan and I have a fantastic woman with me today, Natalie Stangl, and we thought breakfast is the best time to get this live together. So welcome to the Wellness with Just Shan show. How are you doing, Natalie?
Thank you, doing great.
Amazing.
Very healthy breakfast.
Looking forward to having the bites. So let me tell you who Natalie is. Natalie is a very special to me. We met in 2017. But besides whatever I share with her, she's a fantastic singer, an author to an amazing book called Rejection Overruled. She is an entrepreneur. She runs the Doggy Paradise, which is a doggy motel and a hotel. She's a therapist and she's a public speaker. And it can go on and on and on with all that you do. And I'm so amazed by the work that she does, the thoughts that she carries in her life, and the way she perceives life. And I have nothing like it that than to talk about love to this phenomenal woman. Right. So let's talk about, and yes, we're going to keep eating because we've not had a breakfast, so don't mind it. So let's talk about what do you understand or what do you feel when the word love comes to you?
Well, first of all, thank you for giving me the hardest topic because I'm aware of how difficult this is from many perspectives. People see it differently, and I can only share my view. I can only share the way that I perceive it and learned my experiences. So it might not be what you think, but I'll just try to answer. Okay, what is love to me? First, I really truly believe that there's a source of love, and that's God. Without God, I don't think it's possible to really love on all the levels that are possible. So, love is the greatest thing.
It is the greatest thing, of course.
So, love is life. There's thousands of songs, maybe millions, I don't know, in every language combined together probably. So it's the biggest topic and it's the greatest thing. And if it's been done real,
Yeah.
with all the
Yeah,
aspects,
that's another question.
then there's no greater blessing to be loved and to give love.
Be in love.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So they always say the first best thing that can happen to you is to fall in love. The second best thing that can happen is to be in love. The third least thing that can happen to you is to fall out of love. But in any which way, it's all better than not falling in love.
That's true. You wouldn't want to miss that feeling.
That's true. That's true. So, Natalie, you've been through so much, and I'm sure you've had relationships to teach you a lot about what love can offer and how it can, grow you or limit you in some ways, right? So, my understanding, and I'm sure everybody would be interested to know, how do you know that you actually are in love with somebody?
you you can fall in love
Mhm.
emotionally, like emotionally driven to fall in love. I know people, and without, in all these years in my therapy work, I came across a lot of people who felt they needed love all the time, or they couldn't be happy without being in love.
Mhm.
So for them, it was easy to fall in love, but then it's just easy to fall out because most people have expectations about love. And when they approach it this way, like I've known so many people who told me, oh, I'm in love, and this person is the one that can now fulfill my life and make me happy and give me everything I need. So that's a lie. I'm sorry to say. That's an illusion.
Yeah.
So I think the first step is to love yourself enough to understand yourself and take time to understand yourself and then move on from there. What do I have to give? Not what I need to have from somebody, because that puts people under pressure.
Very nice, because what we do is always working outward, not inward. So it's like if I'm right, it's love is a reflection of you in somebody. If you are in love, they will see you in love. And if you don't have it, then you'll make yourself dependent on somebody to give you that. All right. So that brings me to the next question. Do you see love as a destiny, or do you see it like a law of attraction? or do you understand love to be a reflection of who you are?
I think it's all three in a way.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. If I am happy, I think it's easier to accept love also.
That's true.
Because there's also the problem with many people's problems, circumstances that they don't expect it. Or they, as I said before, they would expect the wrong thing, something that only suits them and not the other. And in the beginning, when you're in love, it's just easy, you're floating, I say. It's like, wow, the feeling is amazing. But if you don't retain it, it can get lost
Absolutely.
fast.
Absolutely. So do you think it's a destiny game, or is it what you see, sow is what you reap? How do you see what's the dynamics of love that you have witnessed?
Yeah, I think it's the dynamics. It's what I expect, my experience is a part of how I go into the next relationship or not. You know, like to be honest, to say I'm not jumping into anything anymore. I mean, I've never really done that, but I've had a few experiences where I've given too much in the first few months, and I can lose myself in love. I really
Wow.
can.
You
And
mean surrender or
yeah,
lose?
I don't weigh it out. Should I give more? Should I give less? When I am in love, I think the world is perfect and this person is the perfect thing and there's nothing to lose.
I'm sure most of us can relate to what she's saying, because it's like the moment you've been craving for that validation, which you lose out in your own game. And once you start getting that validation, you just feel that that's the world that you want to live in, and that's absolutely a short-lived thing. So that's something interesting that I really wish I can ask you is, what do you fear when you are in love, or what is your biggest fear when it's about getting into a relationship or being into a relationship?
Well, at this point, I don't go into a relationship if there's any fear on my side, because that's a no-no for me. No. Fear and love does not work together. That's actually a killer.
Right.
Because you put something on the other person that he has no choice. I think even in difficult situations or with difficult people, everybody has a chance, And if I put my fear on this person, which they have maybe never a reason, or they don't want to betray me or lie to me or whatever I fear. There's so many things we can fear. The most fear is fear of getting hurt, if you've been hurt before. So you want to, of course, avoid that when you go into a relationship. But if you enter a relationship with this fear, I can almost guarantee you will be hurt again, because you approach it in that level, on that frequency. I love frequency, yes.
So basically, you are manifesting that fear by fearing that it should not happen to you. So you're actually projecting that onto other person, and even if he doesn't do that, you'll find some way to validate that. Yes, see, I told you I was fearful.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilled prophecy in a way, and the words are patterns, perceptions that we don't clear and heal from.
True.
We take it in that relationship, and the other person, if they're not that way, if they're innocently approaching this,
So true.
they will be choked with that at some point, because you might not be able to hide this completely from them. And it's also feelable, it kind of gets into the setting whether you want or not.
Passively it creeps into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so true. And when we talk about this, how do you feel you can attract a good partner? Like, with all your experiences, what do you feel? How do you prepare yourself for love? Or at what stage of life, or in what state of you should be when you should actually call up for love to enter in your life?
The first thing comes to my mind is, don't look for it. Don't go out and look for the guy or the girl, like, I need one now. Relax, get comfortable with yourself first. think what I've seen many times when relationships break, including my own, that if you don't take the time to really get over what was, if there was something, you're not ready for the next one. Because you put this in the new one as well, the same you've experienced if you're not careful. So try to be as happy as you can imagine to be on your own first. And then you will attract that. You don't have to look for that guy or that. You're happy by yourself, and if you want a relationship at the moment, I believe. No, not really at the time. I'm happy with my dogs and my cats.
I think I'll allow her to eat some because she was the most hungry one when we started the interview. But I'll put the next question together by the time she takes a bite. And the question goes here: do you believe in love at first sight?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
I think it can click. It can click, and if it happens for both at the same time, it's the most wonderful thing. But then you're flying, and you lose reality. You have to know, and to remain that it's work. After a while, it's work, but it's the most beautiful thing.
I can make that out. So what we did is before we started the interview, we thought we'll get two lovers out of the room so that we can have things out there. But gradually, I think they knew how to open the door, and they both are inside the room. So there's one here, and the other one is there. So you keep seeing them coming in and out. Not bad. I like it. That's true love. It makes its way. Yeah. Good.
They follow me everywhere.
I know. Okay. So let's get to this understanding. What is a deal breaker for you when it comes to being in a relationship?
I think I'm a bit old-fashioned, but I don't like to look at it that way. I think it's normal. For me, it's normal, and that means trust, honesty, and being faithful. That's it.
I don't think this can ever be old-fashioned.
I know, but today, look at today's world, you know? What happens, what people do to each other in their partnerships, and all these multi-level relationships, I don't even know how to call it anymore. But for many people, it's not that.
True, I agree with you. Yeah.
But for me, it is. Lie to me.
You're gone. You're gone. So that should be the next question. What is unfaithfulness or cheating? What do you consider unfaithfulness or cheating, or an attitude to cheat in relationship?
Yeah, I think if it's emotional cheating, it's actually could be worse than physical cheating when we talk about how men function, how women function. For us, most women, I say, physical cheating is a big thing. We don't do this normally. I mean, I know there's always exceptions, and there's women who they don't need to have the.
But generally, yeah.
Generally, yeah. And I'm not saying I'm excusing it if a man does it, but it is a slight little difference because of the upbringing, because of the whole thing. So emotional, I think that's worse because you withdraw yourself from your partner and you go and find this in another. And the emotional involvement with another usually leads to physical anyway.
And that's something very nice what she said, because I always see that there's this consumerism mindset that we all have. We are so need driven, it's just like the new mobile comes in, even if it's just two features new, you feel, oh, this is my need, when it is actually not. So you leave the old mobile without any problem just to get the two features new in the next need. And that's what should not come when it comes to a lifelong relationship. I think it's detrimental.
Yeah, today it's exchangeable. People exchange themselves and the other person like easily. That's so true. That's what you said.
So that makes me also think of a fact that how do we consider a relationship is healthy or conducive to growth? What you see in a relationship that if it provides these things, it's very progressive.
Yeah, it's letting the other be themselves and be free. Like supporting what the other does, even if it's not your thing, Like what I can really say, my ex-husband Andy, Don't ask me why ex-husband now. I don't have time to get into this. He's a great guy. I still love him and we're best friends. But that was for me the healing aspect of me being in a relationship because he let me do what I wanted. I mean, I didn't do what I wanted all the time, no, but things I had like a vision to do something new, he would always support me. If I wanted to go somewhere, because we trusted each other, you know, that's the trust was really there. 15 years of marriage with no cheating, no anything. So he knew if I go to India, if I go to Africa, he doesn't have to be fearful or concerned that I would be, with somebody else in that time. And for me, this was first it was healing because I couldn't believe it. I came out of a very abusive relationship before where the guy was extremely jealous.
This is before you got married?
Yes, right before. And it was a nightmare of 5 years that I lost my personality in a way to a degree where I really didn't know who I was anymore. He pressed everything on me that he wanted. And he didn't even let me out.
No choice there.
I had no choice
And then you
because
get
I was
married.
afraid. I was afraid, yes. He
The fear.
threatened me, yeah.
So you go from one connection or
To the other.
relationship where there is no faith, no trust, there's a lot of domination, there's no personality left,
Yes,
to getting married to a person who's letting you be who
Yes.
you want to be.
yes.
So how did you balance yourself in this journey? Like two extremes given to you in one plate, in one phase of your life, you finish and you just jump into something. That opening and that grounding with Andy. Did you have role effects? Did you have
I had
moments?
nightmares.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when we were already married, and I would wake up in the night and I dreamt that the other partner would come and pull me away from my husband and say, "You belong to me, what are you doing there?" And that was so real, it was scary. So that was also the point where I knew I had to heal. I had to really get over this, and Andy couldn't help me in this. I had to go to a counselor, I had to work this up and find myself again, and then I was fine after that.
That's so true because this brings me to a lot of people who come to me and say that I don't know why these patterns are getting repeated in my
Yeah,
life.
they will.
I don't know. I come out from one relationship and launch myself into the other, and then the other, and then the other, and you're still not resolved. It's because you don't want to come out of it. You give the onus to somebody to heal you, and that kills the whole purpose of you being in the journey of love rather than getting somebody to help you in the journey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's got slightly intense, but I think we should talk about when we say ongoing romance in a connection. What is your understanding on how to keep the romance ongoing, how to be in that sync with each other, how to co-create and still not be out of love?
That is work.
Yeah.
That's a part of work. I would say today you have to keep it fresh, you have to keep it alive. And that means you never stop thinking what would the others like, the other person, and also how can I surprise him? How can I invent myself new to him? And if only one part does it, it's gonna fail. And that's the hard part, that both work on it,
Wow.
Otherwise, only one is constantly trying, and you still feel you're getting nowhere.
So basically the effort gets
Guys.
more than the results, because one person is doing it all and you're not getting that coordination from the other side. And you get burned out. Yeah.
Right, you get burned out in the relationship, and then, of course, disappointed. I can really recommend this book called 5 Languages of Love.
Oh wow, okay.
Because in that book, it's an old book, I think it's over 20 years old, but it has never lost its meaning and charm, yes, because like my love language is talking, conversation. If I love to be with somebody, I want to talk with them, and I want to hear them too, right? Not just me. And I love gifts. So there's 5 languages. I'm not sure if I can name all of them, but one is the physical thing. That's the big time, mostly for men, higher than for women. Then it's
that Okay, we're going to take that question too.
Yeah, and the gifts, and then praises. One person needs praises. If they never get praises, they get depressed and they feel
Praises and
worthless.
appreciation both, to feel appreciated with somebody's company, I think it makes you feel so good about yourself and valued.
And I dare to say that a lot of men need praises from their women. They need to know they did something good, So if you keep on praising your husband, if it's his love language, mostly there's not just one. So praise is usually one that is there. You have to feel that out. You cannot do this. So you say, when he comes home, oh, you did a great job. When he tells you about his work, you did a great job. I'm so proud of you. That's all it takes for a man to feel worthy. And the same with us. If we, it's praise is a very important one. And then if for example, like I said, gifts, I feel loved when I get a gift. If somebody thinks about me and brings me something that they think, oh, she might love this, I feel very honored and wow, I feel loved. But then there's people, that doesn't mean anything to them.
So true.
And if you keep giving them gifts because that's your love language, it's like, they get annoyed.
There's no reciprocal.
It's like,
yeah.
what do I do with all this? I don't need this. But then you want to be polite and you still say, thank you, but inside why don't she talk to me, or take time, that's the fifth one, spend quality time together. So these 5 languages, if you know 2 that your partner speaks, that's what they need in a relationship, even if it's exactly not your way, but if you can give that, and you get back, the marriage will never get boring, you'll never feel worthless, you feel blessed.
And this is something very important and it's very fascinating. If you can incorporate that, is to get that time for each other where you can understand what's their love language rather than forcing your way onto them and still not getting validated, it's like a 2-way communication. So you need to know if they actually use an application that you're used to, So maybe you are a WhatsApp person and he's a Signal person and you're like, come to WhatsApp, and he's like, no, I like Signal. So you got to understand what is his way of getting love, and I think that definitely would make the journey more conducive to staying together and wanting to be together. Okay.
And one very funny one, a really funny one is, if you have a partner you can laugh with, that will make. My grandparents, they were married 61 years. And when they had their diamond, we call diamond wedding is 6 years.
Oh, you do it.
I think so, yeah.
It's 75.
Really?
Gold is 50. Gold is 50. I don't know what 60. Maybe the audience can talk about it.
Yeah. I thought it was diamond 60. Okay, 75. Who makes it to this age?
Maybe not in our generation, but we had some.
Okay. I asked them, what is your secret? And they started laughing, and my grandpa said, we laugh a lot.
The girl try to combine everything to make something, or they'll invest together to make a house, or they put all the money in one account. How do you see this? Is it good, or is financial independence maintained separately? Is that something that you would approach to, or how you can just have a common account where you both pool in and yet have a separate understanding to your finances? What's your take?
Well, first of all, scientifically known, finances are number 1 reason why couples fight. That's really number 1. It's nothing after that comes many more things, but money is number 1. It depends. I think to stay individually as a person happy and feel responsible for what you think and you do and be a couple anyway together, I think it's healthy I keep some of my stuff, you keep some of your stuff, but it shouldn't be like hidden, like a secret from each other in a way. I think it should be openly discussed. And then if you invest in something, of course, after something happens, maybe not so good, you split it up again. That should be in a contract. It's sad, actually. I find it sad because today you cannot say anymore, we get married and it's forever, because then that's not even a topic. But today we know that more than 50% of marriages get
Fall apart,
divorced.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that has to be settled to avoid further
Mhm.
grief and pain, because people, as we know, they fight each other for money after
The things are
divorce.
over,
It's
yes.
horrible.
And puts a funny drag in going away from each other, which should be the shortest possible time. Because when you know that half of the marriages I know, they stick together just because of the financial dependence. What would I do, or what would I do without the funds and the money? So
Yes.
if I think it's nice to have your funds separate, so that you don't stay in a relationship because money wants you to be in. It
Oh,
should
yeah.
be an active choice of wanting to be with somebody. And also something very interesting happened with my clients online message that I don't feel good about talking about my finances, my savings to my husband, because over a period of time he calculates my savings to be part of an investment in the future project. So I think that it depends relationship
Yeah,
to relationship.
both have to be okay with this.
Okay, but you have to have a financial talk, because if
Yeah.
you don't have it, then over a period of either the man feels I'm totally responsible for everything, and I know even females, they would say I earn, that's only for my expenses and my stuff, and man's money has to be for the house. Now that's again a very big dilemma, because you both are going out, you both have the equal opportunities. Then you cannot have your money for recreation and his money for a livelihood. So I think that's true. Every relationship has a different need, but this should be a consideration if love has to stay longer into the system. Lovely. Natalie, let's talk about something which is when we talk about the lessons from relationships, like you had um, two or three, I think, phases in which you saw relationships, and now being a mother, your sensitivity towards love is different, and the way you connect with animals. Everywhere we've traveled around to Andaman, to I don't know how many places, and every time I saw you, it's so unconditional for you to reach out. The moment you see a dog, or there's no effort. I see, but when you say I'm not looking out for love, is it that you compensated love in other means of your life, or do you still feel that working on it need to get something which is not working?
Uh, that's not so easy to say, because it also depends. Then, yes, I do restrict myself unconsciously, even because of what I've experienced. I already mentioned in another way, but I trust easily in the beginning. I don't, you know, put something on a new experience consciously. I don't do that. And even if I know that the other one has messed up a few times, that happened to me. I knew that the other one has messed up many times before with others, and it was horrible. But when it came to me with this person, I gave it a chance 100%. And I didn't think it would happen to me. It happens also with other relationships.
Yes.
I can hear them failing, doing whatever, having big problems with people, and I'm the last one thinking it could happen to me with them. Why should it? Why would it? So stupid. It does. Eventually it does.
The lack of
Yeah,
ability.
so it's kind of hard to say. Some people look more trustworthy than others, and then it's easier. But
To launch yourself into it. Yes.
yeah, of course we learn. Hopefully we learn a lot. It's like if today there's a few things for me that I know this is a no for me. If a guy is like hanging out, that's one example. Don't judge me for this, but if somebody's going to the
We
bars
are both
every
like
night,
boys and girls. We love you. Okay, so it's just.
it's just an example. Coming home drunk every night. I mean, why would I pursue a very close relationship thinking this could work out if he's in trouble like that, like an alcoholic or something like that he's not willing to give up. And I'm not saying I want him to give this up because of me.
Correct.
That won't work either, because I cannot make anybody, break a habit because my love is enough for them. It will not be in a while.
Wow, wow. That's something which I think most of us suffer because we always feel that 90% the guy looks okay, just do bad habits. I change it with my love, and that becomes the 90% of your life, because you keep changing somebody when they're not ready for it. And that puts the unwanted pressure into the relationship where you just want somebody to mirror what you like.
Right, and in the end, this person will not even be the same like you met, you fell in love with. So after a while, it changes, like you complain because he changed. That happens.
And that's also one of the major reasons why couples start disrespecting each other, because there is unsaid pressure, to be in a certain way. Super. All right. So one question that came to us by the audience was, what can you do to stay in love and not feel unwanted in a connection?
I have to kind of repeat myself. It's, get comfortable with yourself first. Don't look out for the for the other person's faults. If you make a mistake, be humble enough to say it, no matter what. Just, that is letting your
Guards down.
guards down. Yeah, it's not easy, especially in a new relationship. But the more you can do that in the beginning and just be yourself and be honest and not pretend you're perfect, like we like to do that in the beginning. Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool. So I'm sure when I did the introduction and I happened to say that she's an author, when if you get your hands onto the book, it talks about various aspects, out of which I'm going to talk only about one, which I really feel is very important, is rejection. And it says rejections, the reaction to rejection, roots and resulting behaviors. So when I talk about rejection and love, sometimes it happens because there is lack of compatibility, sometimes it's lack of adaptability, and sometimes it's lack of interest in each other beyond the honeymoon time. That you want to contribute in each other's life because one, you said, right, you're not interested in your own life as much as you are changing the other's life. So how do you see rejection and love together? Is it you get rejected, you go out of love, you fall out of love?
You can, yes,
Yeah.
if you take it on too hard, or if you don't find out the reason. Like, sometimes we hurt each other without even wanting to do, but the other one feels rejected. Like with the 5 languages of love,
Correct.
if you still give the wrong thing, you actually feel rejected because I've told him so many times I want to spend time with you, but you don't. But then you come home with these flowers every week I don't really want. So that can be a rejection. And so rejection is something that I think everybody will at some point experience. And it's the hardest thing. And especially if it happens in very young childhood, it's a pattern. If your mother or father rejects you in the beginning before you can even imagine why, or, it's normally not even the other person's real big fault, unless they're really mean people. But you feel rejected, you have to survive. So what do you do next? Out of fear being rejected again, you do things you don't really want to do. And so you step out of your own personality, you become a giver, and you cannot set boundaries anymore because you're too scared to get rejected. And that's a love killer too.
That's true. So what we call the pleasing, you become the partner pleaser, which cannot last long than what you consciously keep doing at. So I know this is not what I discussed with Natalie, but I just feel like asking her. She's such a fine singer, and if she can just sing 2 lines on anything that comes to her head when it comes to love, it will be such a pleasure for us. I know I didn't discuss this with her, because if I would have done, she would have said, no, just. So Natalie,
what comes to mind?
Anything?
Yeah, okay. Dreams do come true. I know, 'cause
so I think this is so nice that I've had a chance, and I wanted to talk in the starting about it, but I think I should talk at the end of this conversation. She has been a phenomenal influence. We met in 2017 on 30th of December at a mall with she and her son, and I just happened to have coffee at the same place, and I observed the way she hugged her son. It was so warm, and I just remember he bought a new earphone or something like that, and he wanted her to hear it, but he hardly gave her a chance to hear it, and he would put it back. And I just happened to laugh looking at that, and she just happens to say, "Are you an Indian?" And I say, "I'm you," and she says, "I'm Swiss." And the way we bonded with that conversation, I think we sat down for 2, 3 hours in the mall, and the next day she says, "Just if you have time, maybe come, I'll cook something for you, Swiss." And that was my last day of the trip, and we happened to spend time. We met somewhere around 12 in the morning, and we closed the day by 2:33 at night. It was the New Year's, and after that we traveled a lot to different places together. And still, I think the kind of love we share is, I won't say it conditional, unconditional. It's warm. It's something that when you need each other, you know you can call, and you just know that they exist and they're thinking good for you. And that confidence is what I think we all should look out for people in life, and not put that pressure on one person to make you feel. Now, what she makes me feel, maybe my husband cannot make me feel, because she's non-judgmental. She's very open with her experiences, and the way she contributes to my life, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So thank you so much, Natalie, for being with us today. And we always say that love should not be a hide and seek. It should be two people seeking for each other. And with our connection, I always felt that we seek each other in the phases that we needed each other the most. And I wish all of you can also, fulfill your love stories in a way that you can keep growing in that and not fall out of it. Thanks a ton. And one thing that you would like the viewers to know before we close the door.
Don't
quick
give
tip.
up. Never give up, and leave life open for surprises. Don't, sit on your experiences and close up.
Wow, wow, that's so good. So I think we've just given up for now our salad. So we're going to close this live today. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you all are doing good and stay in your wellness game up and high.
Yes.
Stay in love. Thank you. So we can start eating and I'll stop the live.
Good. Hmm.